Hi everyone. Today I'm talking about the INFJ playing the medic in relationships. What do I mean by that? So something that I have seen a huge pattern with INFJs, and I've seen it over the past 10 years that I've worked with INFJs and INFPs, I am including INFPs in this pattern, is getting into relationships with people based on attraction to a wound. So a lot of the time an INFJ or an INFP person will meet someone, be very strongly attracted to them, and not understand why. And it's something that goes beyond physical attraction. It's something that goes beyond compatibility as partners. They're just very, very strongly attracted to this person, even if it makes no sense for them. This is something I've talked about in previous classes, in previous videos. I've sometimes called it the INFJ fascination. I've also called it, wild attraction soulmates. I've written articles on it. Every time I write about this, I get a lot of comments from INFJs and INFPs who say, oh my gosh, this is me. This has totally happened to me. You're writing the story of my life. I didn't know that this was a real thing. I'm equal parts disheartened and relieved. So this is a thing where we are very strongly drawn to someone and we don't know why. We're fascinated with them. We want to get very close to them. We want to know everything about them. We become obsessed with them. This is almost always based on a wound that this person has. And this goes beyond your normal, you remind me of my dad, I remind you of your mom. So of course we're attracted to each other because we're playing out wounds together. Everybody does that to some degree or another in relationships. With INFJs and INFPs, it's a little bit different. It's not just that we're playing out our wounds together, although that is definitely happening. There's also this deeper dynamic of the INFJ or the INFP being the healer, because we are natural born healers. That's something that's inherent in us. We cannot turn it off. It's just part of our temperament. It's part of our wiring. We are here to be healers. So we are very attracted to people who have wounds. We also are very attracted to people who have specific wounds. Usually the person that we are so strongly attracted to and that we get into relationships with, their wound matches our healing abilities. And this can play out in all sorts of different ways. But what ends up happening is that the INFJ or the INFP goes through life unconscious of this dynamic. We just know that we keep meeting people who we're very attracted to. We get obsessed with them. They feel like a soulmate. A lot of times that relationship crashes and burns in a really disastrous way, and we don't know why. And we take quite an energetic beating from it. So it's not just like, oh, that didn't really work out. Now I'm moving on. I'm going to date someone else. It's usually that we have this very long recovery time because we feel like we've had this almost shattering in our life when the relationship ends. So what will happen is I end up meeting a lot of INFJs and INFPs who, if they have not yet met their partner in their 30s or 40s or beyond, they're very almost like battle worn, right? They're very world weary. And a lot of them will say, I don't know if I ever want to have a relationship again. I don't know if I want to get into a relationship again. I don't know if I can trust anyone. I don't know if I want to go there. And that happens with so many INFJs and INFPs where there's this really deep hesitancy to get into relationships or date people or even open themselves in that way because they've been so burned in the past. And it's because they were playing the medic in the relationship. And they didn't realize they were playing the medic in the relationship. And it might not have just been one relationship. A lot of times, INFJs and INFPs, myself included, will have a past that includes a string of these relationships where we are constantly patching up people. We are constantly trying to heal people. Sometimes, I would say a lot of the time, those people aren't actually interested in healing. So we're almost like pushing our healing on them because we want so badly for them to grow and evolve, and we want so badly for them to get better. And the person themselves is not in a place to do that. So again, the relationship crashes and burns, and it feels really awful for us. What we don't understand is that these relationships have gone so badly and have taken so much out of us because we spent half the time in the relationship playing the medic. So one half, we fully were a partner. You know, we were like the girlfriend or the boyfriend or the partner who's like, let's go for a hike. Let's cook a meal together. Let's watch the same movies. We like the same movies. This is fun. That might have been like fully half of the relationship. And then the other half was us being the therapist, right? That's very common for INFJs. I'm the therapist now. Let me help you process every emotion you're having. Let me help you disentangle every element of your past and see how all the pieces fit together. Not that we should never do that with the people we love, because it is so natural to us. But a lot of times it becomes that's like the only thing we're doing, or we're doing that for a good portion of the relationship, or it's not returned in the relationship. So we're being that person's therapist, and they're not being our therapist, right? So there's not an exchange of like, oh, let's figure out our stuff together, or let's kind of pick through the details of our histories together and see what we can come up with as partners, as a team. It's much more like, no, the INFJ is just the therapist. What I see with INFPs is this feeling that they have to mirror or actually be going through exactly what the other person is going through. So if their partner is sad or is mad or is upset, the INFP feels like they need to be right there with them. You're angry, I need to get angry with you. You're sad and upset, I need to be down in the dumps with you. The INFP will mirror very quickly, and then they can lose themselves. And that is another way of playing medic. Maybe they're not being the therapist so much as the INFJ is, but they are doing this constant mirroring and let me merge with you and let me be with you and let me feel all the feelings with you. As they're doing it as a show of solidarity. I love you, I don't want you to be alone, let me get into this emotional mess with you, let me get into the emotional ocean and swim around with you. I want to be your partner in this. But that's not really helping. It's another form of playing the medic, right? It's another form of this person's come in, like they're bruised, they're bleeding, let me get the bandages out, let me patch them up yet again. Now, if we have ended up in a relationship with someone who has a really severe unhealed wound that we've been very strongly attracted to, we will spend most of the relationship focusing on that person's wound, focusing on taking care of the wound, looking at the wound, examining the wound, talking about the wound. We might even form our identity around our partner's wound, right? So they might have a mental health issue, or they might have unresolved trauma from the past. Whatever it is, it's something that's usually holding them back in life. It's something that they are usually sort of flailing about with, they don't really know how to move forward. They don't really know how to work with it. A lot of times the person isn't seeking any other sort of like outside professional help. So when the INFJ is playing therapist to that kind of partner, the partner doesn't have a real therapist on their own. It's not like they have a real therapist and they're having therapy sessions and coming home and saying, oh, I really want to talk about my session with you. Like, do you have time? It's more like that the INFJ partner is the therapist, right? Or the INFP partner. So that's quite common. They're not seeking any sort of outside help. They're not seeking any sort of professional help. Usually the person with the wound has a really hard time asking for help because they have trust issues, or they have hyper-independence. INFJs and INFPs tend to be attracted to people who are dismissive avoidant and have hyper-independence, and they're so self-sufficient, they don't need anyone's help, and that's great. But they actually do need other people's help. We all need not everyone else's help, but we all need the help of others from time to time. And for someone who's hyper independent, it can be very challenging to ask for that help. So if they end up in a relationship with an INFJ or an INFP, then that's who becomes the helper. Now, this is so hard for us to get out of this pattern because this is how we tend to earn our self-worth. This is how we pull our weight in relationships. Like, this is how we love people. Oh, they're in a relationship with me. This is my partner, or this is the person I'm dating. So I need to do these things. I need to be the therapist. I need to be the constant support. I need to mirror them. I need to show them what they're feeling. I need to be someone that they can look at me and they can see themselves. And not only can they see themselves, but they can see all the potential in themselves. And I need to help them grow that potential. I need to take that seed and I need to encourage it and I need to water it every day, right? So you can see how easily we can get lost playing the medic, playing the constant support. And it is exhausting. So after you've done this long term, maybe you've been with one person and you've done it for 20 years, or maybe you've had a string of relationships and you've done this 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and you look back and you say, relationships are exhausting. I don't think I ever want to be in a relationship again. It's just constant work. You lose yourself. You have to be there for the person all the time. You're constantly bandaging them up. You're the constant support, the therapist. I don't know that I want to do that. That's fine to say, I'm looking at that situation and I don't know that I want to do that. That's totally valid. However, what most INFJs and INFPs miss is that that's not the only way to have a relationship. A lot of us, I would say even most of us, we don't even know that's not the only way to have a relationship because we've never had an equal relationship. We've never had a reciprocal relationship where I listen to you, you listen to me, I hear your problems, you hear my problems, I see you, you see me. We're seeing and hearing each other. We're sharing and supporting and helping each other in equal measure. That concept to INFJs and INFPs is totally foreign. So we don't even understand that that's something that can exist and that's something that you can have. Now, this is something I'm talking about in my new class coming up, Living for Yourself. I put this class together based on my last 2 classes full of INFJs and INFPs. And as happens in my classes towards the end, we will talk about this and that and the other thing. And so many people said, I wish you would really teach a class on how to live for yourself, how to find out who you are and what you really want, and disconnect from trying to serve the needs of everyone else all the time, which is such a big problem for INFJs and INFPs. So that's why I put together this class, Living for Yourself. This class begins Thursday, November 30th. It's a 3-week class. Thursday, November 30th, Thursday, December 7th, Thursday, December 14th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It will be recorded. So if you can't make it live, no worries. You can get the recordings, listen to them later. You can get all the benefits of the class. I don't expect that I will be teaching this one again. People always ask me this, so I just want to mention it. People always say, when are you going to teach this class again? Or I missed out on the last one. When is it coming around again? I really don't do repeat classes. I find that every class, and I've taught a lot of them, they all have their own unique energy. There's like a window open, it has its own unique energy. The people who are supposed to come in, and it's an experience. So I never try to repeat that experience. So if this is calling to you, please get in, even if you just get the recordings, because you will have lifetime access to them. You don't have to show up live, but at least you'll have them for the future if you feel like it might be something that you're not ready for right now, but you might be ready for in time. Please also subscribe to my newsletter if you're not already on it. I also get the question, where can I find the schedule of your classes? I don't have a schedule of classes. They're very spontaneous. I teach them as I put them together and as they come to me. But if you're on the newsletter, that's where you will get all the notifications, all the updates about the classes that are coming to you very, very soon. So please subscribe to my newsletter and please subscribe to my channel. I do so many videos for INFJ personality types, INFP personality types, intuition overall, creativity overall, writing. If you have been watching my channel a while, you know writing's also a big passion of mine. So please subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you next time.